Wonderful. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to log in using my dummy credentials. One thing that I do want to point out is I think that this may be a little painful for everyone to see, so I am going to make the view bigger. If you zoom in on your browser, on your computer, and don't zoom out or clear your history and your cookies, it may potentially impact your view the next time you go to log into the portal. I saw a couple of users provided feedback that certain things weren't displaying correctly. So just as a gentle reminder, if you ever do zoom in the web browser, make sure you restore the settings back to the original zoom. And sometimes you'll have to clear your cookies and your browsing history to get the URL to reset to the default. That could be one potential reason, or it could be that there is an issue. But I'm going to log in just like you did before. And I'm logging in with the network executive role. So give it 1 second. I just logged in 2 minutes ago. So let me just reset my settings here. But so as the network executive, when you guys log in, you're actually going to see the data is now populating, the performance is populating in the overview widget here. Let me zoom in a little bit. What we did, so what's different now is performance period is still the same. The network names are all now displaying here. So you can click through them as you need to. The PAT group will be filtered and only display the PAT groups that are part of whichever network is selected here. And then the same, and then the performance scorecard. So this is sort of the overview, and you can drill down from here. But from this page, you have the overview widget. So it shows you the performance for this network for all the PAT groups here. We added a legend here, a color coding legend. I know it might be a little painful for you to see on my screen right now, but basically it tells you that red indicates performance below both of the benchmarks. Orange indicates performance is between both benchmarks. Green indicates performance is above both benchmarks, and blue indicates no benchmark to compare to. The other piece is missing, so you may recall that there's going to be two types of messages to display for when we don't have data. Missing indicates that we know that that we should have data, and we just don't have it for these measures, or for this PAT group, or for the clinician as you start to drill down. If it says not applicable, then that means that it's not missing. It's just that in the current information we have, this partner PAT group provider is not reporting for this measure. And the reason we have not applicable is because our understanding is that may be fluid and could change over time.
And Sarah, just to for these providers for CVIP, it's supposed to be non-applicable, not missing for those 4 measures. Because they're primary care.
Oh, okay, let me make a note of that.
Yeah.
Anything, I'll make a note of that, and Sai, anything that I make a note of, I'll be sure to share with you, because I also want to capture it in the official UAT feedback, but I'll make a note of this as well.
Yes.
Sarah, this is Henrietta. I have a question about where is the source of the benchmarks? Where do we get that?
Absolutely. So give me 1 second. Let me just write this down. So Citrus Valley. Okay, so good question. So if I were to click on this physician, it's going to take me into it would list out the practices. So If I further click on the practice information, when you get to the physician level, you'll see the benchmark information. So it's showing you the baseline and the annual improvement target, which are the two benchmarks that we're referring to in the legend above.
Oh, so there's no absolute. You're just comparing them to themselves on this?
No, this is in comparison. Right. So are you referring to, so wait, ask your question again.
When you say performance below the benchmarks, where are the benchmarks originating? What benchmarks are you using to make that comparison?
Sure. We're using the benchmark information provided to us by LA Care.
Henrietta, where can I get a copy?
Quick question. Basically, with the two benchmarks, one is the baseline that they're comparing to because we provided the baseline and year-to-date. So they're going to compare the year-to-date with the baseline. And the second benchmark would be our 10% improvement during the program. For the four-year period, we have to achieve the 10% improvement. So that's one of the benchmarks.
Can you send me that information on what is expected to be the benchmarks on that second one? Like, I don't know what your absolute parameters are. I was just curious on that. I see no reference here to those benchmarks, where they came from, and who are they?
Definitely, that's our program benchmark. Yes.
Okay. Henrietta, this is Kathy. That's the 2% annually of improvement. So year over year, there should be at least a 2% improvement. Those are the aims.
Right, I understand aims and I understand performance, but the term benchmarks to me seems like it should be a nationwide expectation or some sort of institution that created a benchmark for this. Like an absolute, not this thing.
Absolutely, and Henrietta, what we can do, we can have a separate call and explain you why we decided to choose that particular benchmark. Is it okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Please continue, sir. Yes.
Sure. So I just want to show the functionality. If I were to click on a different network, I should see then, and click apply, I will see then only the PAC groups within that network show up. So if I wanted to click on a certain, select a certain PAC group there, I could, and then I could filter that way, or you can also filter from the drop-down list that was displaying below. So again, it's very linear, and you're able to kind of go places a couple of different ways, whichever is easiest, whichever you find easiest for your use purposes. But as you drill down, the overview is relative to that screen. So for example, let me come back here. So this is the overview performance for East Valley Community Health Center, and then if I click in here, this is the overview for all of the clinicians within that group that I clicked on. So the overview widget is changing every time you go one level deeper. And then we showed the benchmark information by measure, the individual measure information here. If I wanted to, if I click on a measure of performance, a measure specifically, it'll give me additional information. One thing that I want to call out is, as Sai just said, one of the benchmark components is baseline, which is year to date. And so for baseline, this run chart here is going to look a little skewed at first, because what we're going to be doing is, so typically this would be monthly, but we've received year-to-date baseline for 2015, and then year-to-date through November, through October. So those are the two data points that we've received. So right now, the next time that we get a data point, which would be for November, you will see likely see a drop in the run chart because we're going to be calculating the year-to-date calculation each time. But just for those users, when you first log in, we expected this to look like this based off of the data, how we're receiving the data, and how we're going to be doing the calculation. But this will give you your measured detail with your numerator and denominator. Clinician performance by practice, so this will show you all the clinicians within the practice and show you how they look compared to the baseline and annual improvement target. And then this will show you the clinician performance within the network. Any questions there? For our purposes, what we really want to, have you guys pay attention to is it was a lot of mapping. So we want to make sure that the PAC groups are showing up for the right networks and the networks are there, and we didn't miss anybody. So please, during your UAT, please pay attention specifically to that. And then obviously, we look forward to getting any additional, feedback from you guys about the portal that's unexpected. I will let you know, one of the pieces we did receive was regarding the back button. So the back button is still something that we are in process of fixing or working on. It's not something, we didn't want it to delay you guys getting to look at the portal, but in order to go back, you need to use the filters within the portal for right now. Again, if I were to hit this button, it's going to register an error. Oh, maybe we did fix it and I didn't get an update. But the latest update I had was that it had not been resolved. And you can see it's not loading the data. So it's still a work in progress. So please use the filter buttons to navigate between the pages for right now. Any other questions?
Again, Sarah.
Yep.
For all, I think even for DHS, for those 4 measures, it's not supposed to say missing. It's supposed to say not applicable because these measures are not applicable.
Okay.
I think for all of them, I think they didn't put that error. They just said missing for wherever there's no.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to my team and ask them to just verify why they put missing. So I'll reach out to them, but yeah, it's pretty consistent.
And my question is like the wherever it says 0%. Remember that the 0% means a lot of things because if you have denominator and if you don't have any numerator, it's going to be 0%.
Mm-hmm.
Because but it only supposed to say 0% when there is denominator and the numerator is still 0. It's supposed to say missing if there is 0 and 0 in denominator, right? I was just checking for one of the providers here. So just make a note of that.
Yeah, I'm going to drill down into one of them to see if it's showing numerator and denominator count.
Go to clinical depression.
Okay.
Sai?
Yes.
I just want to be clear that I'm following that. Isn't it possible that the data, it's not that the data are missing, but that the answer is 0, and so that's why it's 0, in which case it should be 0% and not missing?
Yeah, here the denominator and numerators both are 0. It's supposed to say data missing because there is no data.
Oh, yeah.
If the denominator
yes.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
sorry.
I was saying.
I thought I heard 0. Okay, good. Yes. Okay.
No problem. Yeah.
Sarah, this is Kathy. Could we see Department of Mental Health? Can we look at some of those, please?
Absolutely. Anyone in particular?
Lisa, why don't you pick one?
So the nephropathy measure for them is not applicable. Here it
Yeah,
says
so that leads to believe.
Yeah.
I'll have to check up on that. I saw that as well. I'm going to check up on that because here's another one that's 0%. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to have
There's
to.
a few.
Yeah, just click on that and just make sure that tell your development team wherever there is a zero denominator, the data should be missing, and if there is some data in the denominator, it means that then there is no numerator, then it becomes 0%.
Let's take a look at Harbor.
Any practice in particular?
Look at DMH at Harbor. First one.
So just to double check again, this is Rebecca with the orange, which I believe is new from the last time we used it. When we're saying that's in between benchmark, we're saying they're performed above the baseline but still below the 2% mark.
Yeah, that's
for the annual.
Right. So yeah.
It's 10. It's 10. Just to correct Rebecca, it's 10%, not 2%. We took the program benchmark, not yes.
Right. So in this.
Oh, we're doing okay. So we're not doing the 2% annual. We're doing the 10% overall.
Yeah, because we already crossed the annual because we are in the second year. So Ali and the team decided that we go with 10% benchmark instead of 2%.
Okay.
So in this case, for this measure, they've exceeded the baseline, but they're below the annual improvement target still. So that's why they are orange instead of red or green.
Sarah, on the CMS 122, the hemoglobin, why is there a green arrow there?
Because it's an inverse measure, so low percentage is a positive. It's to remind us of that.
Okay. Okay.
So if you hover over it like I just did, it'll actually tell you that lower rate is desirable.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Can you click on that measure, Sarah, if you don't mind, please? Yeah, even here the numerator and denominators are 0. Okay.
Any other networks or PAT groups that you specifically want to see before I jump into the PTN executive?
Why would we consider, before we leave this page, why would we consider this above benchmark if we have 0 denominator and 0 numerator?
What I don't know is...
Actually, it shouldn't.
Right. So what it's... let me do this.
It's supposed to say data missing. I think it's the development team has to fix the back.
I gotta see what's going on though, because it's not doing it for all per se. So
some zeros are red, some zeros are green. So I'm just curious, what's the?
Well, right, because in this case, a zero would be a positive thing, right?
But if there's a 0 in the denominator, doesn't that really not tell us?
Right. So, but it's the same thing that we're saying with this. I believe that what they're calculating this as red is because what it's saying that we should have the data and we don't have the data, so it's displaying a red X to say, you know, performance is below both benchmarks because we don't have data. But what's to Sai's point, if we don't have data, it should either say missing or not applicable. It shouldn't be providing us a performance rating.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So that's what I have a note to clarify with our dev team, how is the tool determining that, and do they have it coded correctly?
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I think you were saying something else to go to another one.
Glendale, because Henry, just can you go to Glendale? Just see how it's showing.
Any particular PAC group?
Henrietta, do you want to pick one provider or PAT grouping?
Look at somebody that's got data. Looks like Tara Cashian or White Memorial. That's fine.
I'm sorry. Can you say it again? I didn't hear you.
It's AHPN White Memorial.
Gotcha. Any other questions about the network executive?
Yeah, where did the data for this come from?
It came from Cy and his, I mean, from our perspective, it came from Cy and his team. Cy, I don't know if you want to elaborate on how you would.
And yeah, it's us who provided the data. We just have to make sure we verify and make sure that the data is right. That's on our end.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because those numbers don't match what I have. I'm just kind of curious.
All right, I'm going to switch roles here. So they're going to look very similar, same look and feel for the PTN executive. I'll just kind of take you through it here once it loads. So at the top here, your filters are going to be, again, performance period, networks, PAC groups, and performance scorecard. So again, this is the overview widget. We know that DB Hirsch is sort of standalone, so they're down here in their own summary widget, but within the same page. So here you can click on the networks from here to drill down. Or you can also use the filters at the top, again, similar to what I said last time, you know, however you're comfortable doing this. But I'll go to, I guess I'll do Department of Mental Health. Again, my overview widget will change. This is now the overview widget for the Department of Mental Health network. Similar to the network executive, it's going to show me all of the PAC groups. I'm able to click into that PAC group. My overview widget is going to change and adjust to be the overview for just that PAC group. Then it's going to list out all the practices within, and I'm able to click on a practice. And again, my overview widget is just for that practice, and then I can select a clinician from within that practice. and that's going to give me the measure-specific information for that physician, and then I can further drill down into the measure to get numerator-denominator counts, baseline, clinician performance at the PTN level, and clinician performance at the network level. Any questions there?
Not right now, Sarah.
Okay.
Unless somebody else has it. Yeah.
No, I know from last time that once you guys get into it, you're very good about reaching out. So please, what I owe you is confirmation that you're, when you log in, that there's actually data there. So once we hang up, I'm going to step out and see if I can't get a status update on that. And then once we've given that confirmation, I'll let you and Eileen know, and you can notify the masses of that. And what I've asked Sai to do is for the UAT feedback form, just create a second tab within your first UAT feedback form and call it, re-release or release 2. And then Sai will consolidate and send us all of the re-release UAT feedbacks by their due date. So if you have any questions between now and then, reach out to me, but let me go track down and figure out what's going on with the portal for you guys. And I'll also
so Sai, when is, oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, I was just saying I will also send the recording to the team as well.
So we use the same login information that you gave us last time around, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then do we have a due date, Sai, on this?
25th.
25th of January?
January,
okay.
Yes.
Sai, were you able to check about the logo display with Len?
Yes, I think Ali and I was discussing on that. So I will speak to Len, and they will decide which logo they should go with, either LAPTN or LACare.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Henrietta, one of the process of UAT is whatever data we submitted, we just have to review it and make sure it's displaying here properly.
Okay, thank you. And Sai, if you could just send me the information on the benchmark so that I understand that just a little bit better.
Definitely, I'll do that.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.